Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hi. Welcome to Unlocked. This is our June edition. I am Sam, and I am joined on the couch today with the lovely Rich Hudson. Hiya, Rich.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, good, good, good. Do you want to give folks at home a little bit of an intro?
Sure.
Who
Hello.
You are?
My name's Rich. I am a video artist here at Frontier, so I'm part of the team that works on a lot of the trailers and screenshots that you might have seen in the past, and some of which you're going to see today. You might have seen me lurking around on Unlocked in the past, first time as a non-speaking protagonist a few months ago. That was fun. And you'll see a lot of my work coming up today, actually, in Planet Coaster 2.
Yes. So for some of our eagle-eyed and eagle-eared listeners, you guys will remember that we have often mentioned Rich Hudson and the parks that he's been putting together for the demos that we'll be doing for Planet Coaster 2. So yeah, we're going to be seeing more of that later on, and he's going to be helping me go through the show today because we have got loads to get through today,
Yes.
Rich. We are absolutely stacked. But firstly, we're going to be saying hello to the chat. Hello, everybody
Hello.
at home. How are you guys doing? I think we saw somebody was in there at 3
Somebody's
3
here
a.m.?
at 3 a.m.
Hello there.
The
Thank you so
committal.
much for joining us. That's amazing. It's lovely
Yeah.
to see you there. But yeah, hello everybody. It's nice to see you here. We're going to try and call some folks out again.
See Commander Alexa,
Alexa,
Halo J, Hurricane Overlord.
Hello everybody. Ignacio.
Welcome
Hello
along,
there,
everyone.
guys. Lovely stuff. Yeah, wonderful to have you here as always. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. So yes, cool. Couple of bits of housekeeping before we get into the sections themselves. As always, we have got our Twitch drops that are going to be coming to the show today. All you need to do is watch for 20 minutes and you're going to be able to get your hands on these lovely ship kits or the paint jobs. Lovely
Yeah.
stuff. We have got the Crate Mark II on screen here, as well as the Python.
Yes, this is the Shatter Blue Skin. So if
Yeah.
you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/Frontier. If you're not, watch for 20 minutes and you can land one of these.
Yeah, they're absolutely stunning. Really, really beautiful. I love these ones for this month. It looks great.
Yeah,
Awesome
absolutely.
stuff. Yeah, so like we were saying, we've got loads to get through today. So Rich, do you want to tell us a bit what we're looking at?
So, coming up this month, in case you've been living under a dinosaur-shaped rock for the last couple of weeks, you might have heard that we announced Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Yes, finally.
Yeah,
Finally.
absolutely. And Sam caught up with two of the development team, and you'll hear from them very, very shortly. Then we're going to swing over to Planet Coaster 2, as our favourites Rich and Adam will be back on the sofa to talk more about Update 6 that we heard about a little bit last month. Planet Zoo fans, it's DLC Day.
Yes.
Today, DLC Day if you're playing on PC.
Very exciting.
So we're going to see some more information about that. And of course, Commanders, it's a very, very exciting day because you're going to hear a bit more about the Panther Clipper Mark II, because our very own Zach will be joining Curtis and Chris to give you a bit more information on the ship, as well as its release date.
Very
Yes.
exciting.
And
very
we have a
exciting.
giveaway for you a bit later on,
Yes,
so
yes.
stay tuned for that.
Yeah, loads coming up, and yeah, do stay tuned for the giveaway as we'll be picking that up later on. Awesome. But yes, to start the show off with, it is incredibly exciting for us to finally be able to start talking about Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Yeah.
So at the start of June, we were able to finally announce the game to the world. We saw our announce and gameplay trailer going out, and today I managed to catch up with some of our devs to go through the features that you guys would have started to see in those trailers as well. So yeah, we're going to be picking that up now and cutting to that. Check this out after our gameplay trailer.
Welcome to the Dinosaur Integration Network, or DIN for short. Our organization brings groundbreaking, sustainable breeding programs to a global clientele of demanding site owners. We are taking paleo curation into exciting new territory. Where previous pioneers exclusively synthesized female dinosaurs, we are also creating males. These animals aren't assets to us, but the beginning of a new evolution. And do keep an eye on the young dinosaurs. They can inherit more than just appearances. Every site must be a perfect balance of security and spectacle. Protecting our guests is crucial, but so is inspiring the next generation. As with any project of this scale, not everything will go according to plan. As the park manager, you'll also need to assess emerging situations and get them under control. It won't be easy, but that's why we're hiring the best. Din is here to make a difference. Now, I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but please...
Caution, gate opening.
This is your first and final warning. Din must not continue.
Welcome, Sandy, Andy. Hello, you guys. Welcome
Hello.
to Lovely to see you. To start off with, can you just introduce yourselves to some of the lovely people at home who maybe are not familiar with yourselves?
Sure. So my name is Andy Fletcher. I'm the game director on Jurassic World Evolution 3.
And my name's Sandy Samarco, and I'm a principal designer on Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, it's so nice to have you guys here today.
Great to be here.
Awesome. Cool. So Jurassic World Evolution 3, what an incredible project. And you guys getting to work on the third installment of this title. That's super, super exciting. It's just gone out. It's been announced. People are starting to talk about it. Like, how does it feel now that it's out there in the world?
Yeah, it's super exciting, you know, to be revealing the hard work that everyone's been doing here in the studio for so long, and yeah, finally unveil everything that we've been planning for this third installment. And you know, the feedback's been really positive. We're really excited
Yes,
to see what everyone's saying about the game. It's a huge year for Jurassic in general, so yeah, it's a really exciting time.
Yeah, loads going on there. It's incredible. Yeah, super, super exciting. Awesome stuff. So yeah, we've got loads to talk about today. There's loads of new features coming to the game. It's looking absolutely brilliant. Those features, there's lots, like I say, for us to talk about, and they all sort of fall into a couple of different categories. We've got loads of new stuff with the dinosaurs. We've got lots of new creative stuff kind of coming in. So before we kind of get into the meat of it, I think it'd be nice to give a bit of an overview of what's maybe to come. So I think let's start with the stars of the show, the dinosaurs. What can we kind of expect there?
A lot from the dinosaurs. Obviously now the big headline ticket is you can breed them, which means you get juvenile dinosaurs, but that comes with a lot of support work. So male and female. So we've got dimorphism, new behaviours, you know, upgrades to the dinosaur brain. So a lot of cool stuff coming that way.
Awesome. Yeah, there's so much coming. It's really, really cool. Lovely stuff. Then on the creative side, there's a whole host of new tools and ways to just kind of get creative in the game. Like, what can we expect there, Andy?
Yeah, there's a lot of detail to dive into on the creative side of things. You know, it's a real kind of foundational change for the game in many ways.
Yeah.
You know, I think the kinds of parks that people will be able to build and share this time around are going to be, you know, beyond anything we've seen before in the franchise. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about there.
Lovely stuff. Awesome. And then we've got a brand new campaign as well. There's lots there as well. So yeah, what can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, bigger and better. We've got an epic new campaign that goes across the whole globe, and you know, has a more open, less linear feel than previous campaigns. So yeah, again, yeah, lots to dive into there. We've got some returning characters that I think people are going to love, and yeah, this new structure I think is really going to appeal, going to make it feel, you know, more global, more cohesive, and
bigger,
more intricate. You know, with the systems kind of, you know, working across different levels.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, there's loads there. Awesome. Cool. All right. So now we've got a sense of what we're going to be chatting about. Let's get talking about everything because it's incredibly exciting. So starting off with the creative tools, we've got some new stuff for our creative players. There's modular building. Can you tell us a bit about that? What are we expecting with that? What can we do with it?
So modular buildings is basically, as far as Frontier is concerned, we're well known for putting a lot of effort into making sure you can create all sorts of amazing structures, and so we're bringing that to Jurassic World Evolution 3. So every building, actually under the hood, we comprised of, you know, hundreds, thousands, just stacks of individual components that you can get in there and you can tweak. So you can basically, what you can create is up to you now. You're no longer restrained by set buildings.
Yeah.
You can go wild.
Get in, tinker, build out what you want. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
amazing.
You can do your own spin on the buildings in the game. There's lots of different variations in there to start with, and it's it's the tools that you have with those pieces. You can intersect them, scale them, freely rotate and move them around, and it's beyond buildings as well. You can create combinations of scenery items and save them off as blueprints. And I think one of the big things to emphasize really is that we wanted the game to feel like a Jurassic World Evolution game. It was absolutely essential to us that this wasn't a barrier to entry. We wanted it to feel like a JWE game. So that's been really paramount in our minds. But when you scratch below the surface, you'll find an incredible array of
under the
items.
hood. There's so much more stuff, but it's no harder to do than previous games. You can just plonk buildings down; they'll look beautiful. But you can make your own stuff, or you can take existing buildings and just tweak them however you want.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my next question. So obviously, if I'm a creative player, brilliant. There's loads for me to play with there. But if I want to just get into the management, I just want to sort of take care of my dinosaurs, do I need to kind of get into the modular buildings, or what kind of things do we have there for those sorts of players?
Oh, you can. The game has loads of lovely buildings to use. So if you're not that way inclined, there are stacks of blueprints. But I think we're going a little bit further. You want to talk about the blueprints is getting a significant upgrade for Jurassic World Evolution 3.
I mean, the big new frontier really is the integration of the Frontier Workshop.
Yeah.
So this is
fantastic.
and it's cross-platform. So across all the platforms that the game is available on, players will be able to upload what they've created, both in terms of specific building types, general scenery, and also whole parks that they've built. And other players will be able to download those creations and visit those parks and use those blueprints, use those creations in their own parks. So again, there's lots for players to kind of choose from in the game at launch, across a variety of themes as well. We didn't really talk about the scenery themes. We've got classic Jurassic themes.
Yeah, there's so much there. Those are really cool.
We've got new themes inspired by the campaign.
Yes.
So there's thousands of pieces for people to delve into, and many blueprints. But once you add that Frontier Workshop element, there's going to be more and more every time you come back. There'll be new creations, and that's what's really exciting, is that this game will,
it's going to build a
appropriate
community.
to the title, it will evolve. Every after launch, and we can't wait to see what people create.
Super integration as well, which is I think we're all really excited about. It's you'll be able to get into the game and just see the creations of other players from the game itself.
Yeah, you don't have to exit your park to kind of go to a separate interface. There is a separate
integrated.
Yeah. You can just go via the normal left-hand bar menu, and you'll be able to see and search for Frontier Workshop items within.
And just if you don't have artistic talent like me, you'll be able to nab them and then pass them off as your own.
Yep,
it'll be fantastic.
Awesome. That's super exciting. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Awesome stuff. So beyond just the modular, the building, there's obviously a lot more coming to the creative side of things as well. We've also got a whole host of new terrain tools, which are going to expand, again, just that variety in the park. So can you tell us a bit about those as well?
Yeah, so terrain looks beautiful, but now we've kind of taken off all of the latches so that you can build it pretty much however you want. The terrain tools have had a massive upgrade. It's way more vertical. We've got these really cool brushes that do a lot of the heavy lifting artistically for you. You paint them down and they're filled with detail objects that our artists have carefully constructed. So even someone like me, it's very easy, very quickly to create something that's very, very pretty with just one brush swiping here.
A couple of sweeps.
Yeah,
to paint
exactly.
down
Yeah,
loads.
and terrain manipulation's the same. You can have really large formations, basically, that you can create very quickly. Like I say, verticality is much bigger. We've got ramp tools now, so point-to-point ramps, so that your gameplay is going to work with it as well. So it's not just visual.
Yeah, I think that's key, isn't it? It's having those tools and seeing what they can do for parks, right? So you've got ramp tools, you've got smooth tools, so you can now build parks across multiple levels and have your vehicles, guests, dinosaurs traverse them up to a point, and even beyond that point, you can now use terrain in other interesting ways. So you can actually use terrain and large scenery items to enclose dinosaurs.
Yes.
So creating more naturalistic enclosures.
Yeah.
So
That's gonna be
the
amazing.
tools in their own right are very powerful, but it's what's really exciting is what it means for the kind of parks that we're going to see this time around.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So we just touched on the natural enclosures. Can you tell us a little bit a bit more about that? Like how can we build out those spaces, and how does that sort of work? You know?
Yeah, so you'll still need to look after your dinosaurs. You still need to make sure your guests can see dinosaurs. Otherwise, they won't want to come to your park, spend their good money. And you need to make sure that your rangers can visit the dinosaurs and scan and make sure their welfare is looked after and they're comfortable.
Yeah.
So there will be elements of you need to ensure access to the dinosaurs through gates and things like that. But beyond that, we've loosened the restrictions on having to have fencing all the way around all the time of the dinosaurs.
So cool.
It's not always going to, you don't have to have that feel to your parks anymore. You can make it look as if the dinosaurs are in a kind of in a valley or in a sort of a kind of a rocky area. And again, it just adds to that sense of those dinosaurs feel more integrated with the natural world, which is kind of one of the themes of the campaign as well. It's about, how in this point in the Jurassic timeline can we make it so that dinosaurs are integrated more naturally with the environment, with sites all around the globe.
Yeah, amazing. And I think you can also use water as well. Can we also use water to create?
Yeah, we can use water. We've got more water for everyone. We've got deep water now, which I think people may have seen.
A little sneak peek.
Some Spinosaurus enjoying that. But you can use that to enclose dinosaurs as well. Not all dinosaurs can swim. And not many can swim through deep water, so you can enclose them in water. You can create waterfalls now very easily with the terrain tools.
A couple of clicks and everything.
Exactly. It's we've taken our formidable knowledge that we've accrued over many years of Planet games, and we've just stuffed them into this. And it's come out really cool.
No, it's super exciting, and I love the fact that it really depends. It doesn't matter your skill level. You can go as deep as you want. You can go as detailed as you want, or if you want to, you can kind of keep it very simple. Like you say, a couple of clicks with the terrain tools, and you can build something really beautiful. You can put in your blueprints. There's something for everyone, which is really, really cool. Awesome. So yes, loads coming on the creative side of things. But now let's start talking a little bit about, I think, what everyone is most excited about, the juveniles. They look absolutely amazing, absolutely adorable. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it was like bringing them to life?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a
lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm sure.
It's a real new frontier for the game. So, it's quite a privilege actually to be bringing juvenile versions of these dinosaurs that everyone loves to the world for the first time. We've seen juveniles in the Jurassic movies, and we've taken inspiration from those, but there's a huge amount of dinosaur species that we've not seen juveniles for in the Jurassic movies. So it's been a real journey of working with our partners at Universal, with noted paleontologists, including Steve Brusate, who was a consultant on the movies as well, and concepting, iterating till we get these juveniles that as you say, they're just absolute wonderful to kind of watch, and it's really incredible to kind of bring those to players for the first time, and it's. The juveniles are spectacular, but it's that family unit as well that's really exciting.
Seeing them all together now.
It's the juvenile, the female, and now the male.
Yeah, well. It's a big overhaul in terms of what the dinosaurs need to do. That we've had to go into the inner workings of them to make sure that now they can function distinctly. We've got familial species and herd species and more solitary species. So the way that we had to do lots of changes to behaviours, make sure we have cool new juvenile specific behaviours, parents calling out to them following the parents, play chasing with each other, and then based on these differences, the different types of dinosaurs, you can get some, like I say, they're very familial, they'll only stick with mum and dad, and other ones that are more gregarious, possibly even to their own detriment, because they might end up following dinosaurs that aren't quite as happy being followed by them. But there's a giant big structure underneath juveniles to support it. It's they're great in their own right, but like Andy says, you've got males and females, and we have new social needs now. So they're not just a wonderful thing to look at. They add a new level of dynamism really to the game, a new level of challenge as to what you need to do to look after them.
Yes,
basically.
Yeah, 100%. And just touching on that, it's a whole new level of engagement.
Yeah.
What kind of things can we expect there? What do we need to sort of pay attention to?
Well, for example, juveniles might have different paleo needs to adults. If you've got a brachiosaur, with a great big long neck that normally feeds on high trees and leaves in trees, a juvenile brachiosaur, it's not quite as tall, might not be able to reach. So you need to make sure that you've got some ground leaves for it. And the same for some of the carnivores, some of the small carnivores. When the juveniles, they can't really take down live prey, so you need to make sure they've got meat feeders. And again, social needs. Some juveniles are happier when there's a bunch of them together. Other ones, they need mum and dad around, and they're going to get distressed if they're not.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of these social dynamics going on that make basically differentiate the species. So each time you've got a new species that you want to breed, there's more things to consider, to look after. But it's worth it because they bring you loads of cash. Juveniles are inherently appealing. At the end of the day, you're running a theme park. You need to make some cold hard cash, and juveniles are one of the best ways to do that.
Right. Loads there. And you mentioned obviously the interactions and the depth that we're kind of going to experience there. There's a lot of work that's gone into the animations and those new interactions. And can you tell us a bit about those social interactions? They're going to interact with other juveniles, right? And also the adults, as we were saying.
Yes, they do. And those interactions are amazing.
They are absolutely stunning.
And some of them are quite cool and dynamic, like say juvenile dinosaurs play chasing with each other. There's some real sweet touches depending on the species. And then other ones, if they're interacting with adults of the species or with their parents, if they're familial, there's just a wide breadth that I don't know, it gets across. They all feel different. It gets across the differences between them.
They really do. Yeah.
I mean, a whole new dinosaur. I mean, the adult dinosaurs in Jurassic World Evolution are kind of incredible in their own right. The amount of care and attention that goes into the animations, the modelling, everything that has all been applied to the juveniles and also the males as well. So it's really wonderful. It's a whole new layer, whole new layers even of dinosaurs that we're adding this time around, and they've had just as much care as attention as all the other dinosaurs that we've done in the past. So it really shines through in the game, I think.
We haven't even mentioned breeding.
No.
Yeah,
there's a whole new gameplay loops there.
Exactly, there's new gameplay loops. You'll be able to breed, hopefully breed all good traits into your dinosaurs. Breed cosmetic colours, so you get kids that inherit the colours from their and patterns from their parents. So there's loads to do,
and you have to make sure you can breed them, right? So you have to work with the fertility, graphs of certain dinosaurs. So high prestige, high appeal dinosaurs
they can be a bit
might
finicky.
Be a little harder to breed. You can set up breeding programs to make that more likely, or to pick the particular dinosaurs that you want to pass down their traits and their colours to the next generation. So there's a lot of intricacies within the system.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you guys have obviously touched on it a bit now. There's breeding that's coming to the game. That's a big part of it, natural breeding. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? We've touched on a lot of things there, but can we talk a little bit more about, because we're synthesizing males now, what the loops look like? And there's nests and a whole host of new things coming there as well.
Yeah, so you start off, obviously all dinosaurs in Jurassic World are female. But now with research, you'll be able to unlock the male genome, start synthesizing males and females, looking after them, making sure they're happy. And when your dinosaurs are thriving, you'll be able to put down these new structures. So we've got nests. Obviously, dinosaurs, they like to lay their eggs in safe places, so you can construct these kind of locations that they're drawn to. But even the nests, different dinosaur species have different needs for nests. Some dinosaurs don't want their nests visible to guests, for example. You've got to hide them away. And other ones, they like it if there are lots of nests together. Things like that. All dinosaurs are all different. And then once the conditions are right, as it were, the lights turn down, the music's playing, if the nest's in the right place and your dinosaurs are happy, then they can breed now. And you'll get eggs. And then after the juveniles have spent the time in the nest, they'll emerge. And so it's a whole new cycle. Some of the dinosaurs, with a bit of care and attention, you can actually turn them into little kind of breeding engines so that you can get enough of a species in there that they can restock themselves over time. So again, another great way to make money without having to synthesize.
I see you're a management player over here.
Well, it's a park. And as Andy has alluded to, it's Jurassic, right? It wouldn't be a Jurassic game without the intervention of humans. So if you want specific traits to come through or specific colours for offspring, for progeny of dinosaurs, you can run breeding programs. You assign scientists, so it's very easy to do. It's very accessible. Then that increases the chance of particular dinosaurs breeding. So you can.
So you still have a hand in this.
So you can put your finger on the scales. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think what's cool is also you can breed down generations, so you can try and kind of get as far down a specific sort of generation of dinosaurs as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. You can try and build like the perfect dinosaur with the colours that you want and all the good traits that you want, and then that's great stock then for carrying on that line.
Awesome. So yeah, like we're saying, we've got males, we've got females, we've got the juveniles now. It's a whole family, and of course that means that there's loads to take care of. I'm imagining there's a lot more now to manage and to take care of. And I know we've incorporated a whole host of new features there as well to make that a bit easier. ATVs, security cameras, that kind of thing. So
so there's
good about that.
As you build out your parks, we want to give players new tools to manage, control the chaos that tends to happen when you breed dinosaurs.
Doesn't always work out as you plan.
It doesn't always work out perfectly. So, we have some new tools in the mix now. As you mentioned, we've got security cameras. So, this allows you to kind of, set up, security cameras at key points around your park, key strategic points where they might be able to spot evidence of a dinosaur breaking out and being a threat to guests.
Yep.
And if you link those to your response centers, to your response
capture teams, helicopters,
then you can actually have those capture teams come and automatically tranquilize the dinosaur that's escaped. So this is a really smart thing to do if you've got dangerous dinosaurs and you've got a lot of guests.
You don't want dinosaurs to they don't mix. You lose lots of money.
And then in addition to that, we have a new maintenance team, which this is our maintenance team. They drive around these cool little ATVs, which is super fun to drive.
They're super fun.
Particularly in combination with the terrain tools we talked about earlier.
Yes.
We waste a lot of time playing with those.
Racetracks, maybe? I don't know.
So these guys now are in charge of repairing and resupplying. So in that example I just gave, if the dinosaur is broken out, and you've put down a supply post that has the broken fence in range of an ATV team, they'll come and just repair the fence. So as you can see, you've got more abilities to kind of plan ahead of time and have your response teams kind of respond on their own volition. And it means that you can, particularly in bigger parks, you can be building out and doing something else.
Yeah, it just takes the pressure off you.
Yeah, you don't
can't
have
your
to
eyes
respond
everywhere.
immediately. You don't have to kind of do everything manually if you don't want to.
If you set it up well, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've got them in stupid places, then
so rewards planning, rewards a bit of strategy, and some really cool, powerful tools particularly for bigger parks.
Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be incredibly exciting. Lovely stuff. So there's a lot of new features there. But moving over to the campaign now. The campaign, there's a lot for us to do there. It's we're going to be sort of traveling the globe, basically, like literally there. Can you tell us a bit about what we can expect with the campaign?
Yeah, for sure. So our narrative is set just after the events of Dominion, and that's a point in the Jurassic timeline where, dinosaurs are out across the globe.
They're out.
And that's a really fascinating place to be from a game perspective, because it means we can go venture across the globe and see some new locations and dinosaurs in locations we've maybe not seen before. So in our campaign, you'll be working for the Dinosaur Integration Network, which is an organisation set up by Cabot Finch, my favourite returning Cabot Finch.
Nice to see him back.
Yeah, and this is all about creating sites that to help dinosaurs integrate more kind of ethically, I guess, into the modern world. And so you will start out in North America, you're starting some sites there, but as the campaign opens up, you'll unlock new sites across East Asia and in Europe as well. And as you open each one up, you'll be able to kind of go freely back to previous parks.
Yes. Use
dinosaurs and research technologies that you've unlocked to go back and improve those parks, unlock new areas in those parks. And so there's just a much broader kind of scope to it, and everything's kind of interlinked.
Very
and
nice.
You can just jump around a lot more if you want to.
You can play at your pace, at your speed, at your focus, basically.
And we tried to make sure that each level doesn't just have is visually distinct in terms of the location, the lighting, but also it has its own particular goals. So you'll be working for clients, and each park has its own measure of success in terms of what counts for a 5-star park rating. So some clients might be more interested in the juveniles, and some might be more about marine reptiles. Some might not want any synthesis at all, and so there's lots of different kind of some might be about tours and guest satisfaction. So they try to kind of push the variety of each level so that it really feels like a different challenge that you're going to.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so there's loads of depth there as well. And obviously we're going to be visiting some new locations. We saw one of those in the gameplay trailer. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about those as well?
Yeah, so we saw Japan very prominently in the gameplay trailer, which, you know, got a lot of people excited and brings in lots of cool new terrain, you know, foliage visuals and scenery options as well. That's another thing that campaigns allow us to do, is to kind of inspire the scenery artists to create new building sets as well.
Yeah,
lots
and they are,
of
and they are
scenery.
beautiful. They are absolutely
it's
stunning.
awesome.
They've done a phenomenal job.
And we saw a glimpse of Malta, I believe, which is one of our European locations.
Yes.
You've got kind of Mediterranean architecture in there. We'll also see some more Alpine-inspired architecture elsewhere. So yeah, I think we're going to reveal more locations as we near launch in October.
Yes, lots to
but
talk about
each
there.
one
Lots to talk about.
got its own flavour and its own feel and its own aesthetics.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, so we've been touching on just how good these levels look, and there's a good reason for part of that as well. In addition to all the lovely stuff that you can build and put together, there's a lot that's been changing under the hood as well. Some amazing changes there. So can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
I'm no expert, but I know that whatever they've done, the water is looking way better. We've got better sky boxes and skies in general. There have been improvements with global illumination, ray tracing, which I don't know what it means, but you get amazing results. It looks amazing. Hot air balloons, you can see the flames kind of coming through the canvas, which is just, it's so cool. It's very, very realistic.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I mean, touching on the hot air balloons, actually, I mean, we haven't even kind of explored this. There's a whole host of new attractions coming as well, different ways for you to interact with the dinosaurs. I mean, yeah, can we touch on that a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, you'll be able to see the dinosaurs from new perspectives. So hot air balloon is one very prominent one. Again, a lot more verticality that it adds into the level. So it's really exciting to bring that and go over your enclosures. You'll also be able to get much closer to dinosaurs with the dinosaur encounter.
Yes, we saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, we saw a very small glimpse of it, actually petting dinosaurs. So yeah, that's really, really exciting. That's been something we wanted to do for a long time. And, you know, a lot of these things, they obviously add the dynamism to the levels, but also, you know, that those creative tools that we've got allow you to kind of, you know, also, you know, dress them in your own way as well, and, you know, bed them into your park. So yeah, great new attractions and great new aesthetics coming with them as well.
Yeah,
I mean, paths. We didn't even mention paths as well, like the paths that go to these attractions as well. We've got new path styles. We've got natural paths now, so you can again make your kind of park facilities kind of look more embedded with the natural world.
Integrated, more organic,
more plausible. Yeah,
they're really, really beautiful. Yeah, super, super cool. Lovely stuff. Well, we've got more to say on attractions in the coming months. We can't say anything just yet, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it very, very soon. But yes, thank you so much, you guys. It's been lovely having you. Finally getting to be able to talk about Jurassic World Evolution 3 has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on the couch.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Great stuff. So a couple of you guys have been also asking about physical editions, and we're really excited to say that we will be bringing a physical edition to consoles. If you pop over to our website now, you'll be able to pre-order that. Speaking of pre-orders, for our digital release that's coming out on the 21st of October, if you pre-order that now, you will be able to get a hold of the Badlands set, which will be bringing iconic scenery pieces from the original Jurassic Park film to your park. So get in there and pre-order that now. So the sets are really, really cool. Hello again, everybody. Awesome. So yeah, loads of stuff coming up for Jurassic World Evolution 3.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Now, we're going to be turning our attention to Planet Coaster 2. So yeah, welcome back, you guys.
Hi.
Hello,
Hey.
Rich and Az.
We're back.
You guys are
We're
back. Back again.
We are back.
Awesome. So you guys are here to talk again about Update 6,
That's
which
right.
is going to be releasing very soon.
That's right. It's coming out on Monday, the 30th of June. So
That's
in a
right.
few days' time.
Coming out on Monday.
Really exciting.
Very, very exciting. Awesome. Yeah, so we've got you guys back to chat about some of the features on Update 6. They weren't quite ready for us to show them just yet.
Yeah.
You're going to be taking us through what we're going to be having a look at there.
Yeah, in Unlocked last month, which seems like yesterday, we showed the sort of intent and the some conceptual parts of the modular souvenir shops and the on-ride photos. But now, with it being so close, we've got a live build. We're going to jump in and actually look at how we put a modular souvenir shop together and also the on-ride photos as well.
Awesome. Lovely stuff. Let's jump in. Cool.
We're back in the park that I used in the last Unlocked. I say I used.
the lovely Rich, who's now just sat over there.
We get to embarrass him
Have to
in
embarrass
person
him.
now.
Yeah.
The incredible stuff that you guys
Put it
are building
together.
that makes us look really good when we're
Yeah.
sitting on the couch.
Again,
We're using the
thank you
park
very
again.
much, Rich.
Thank you very much, Rich. This time though, unlike last time where you had lovingly placed the items for sale, they're not there anymore because I'm going to show you how you actually start to link these displays to the till. Or if you're playing in US American, cash register, because we call them tills over here, I'm afraid, so it's the shop till. So I select the till here, and much like the restaurants that we had, we've got the linking ability now. So I can either add new displays, which we'll have a look at in a little while, or I can connect existing displays. So I use the connect tool, which gives me my multi-tool. I select the displays that are here, I confirm them, and then just like magic,
There you go.
the items are now on display,
That's so cool.
ready for the guests to
Imagine
come
doing
along.
that piece by piece.
Yeah.
One at a time. That's fun. Yeah.
And I just come along and go, no, just do it like this. And
There you
boom,
go.
there they are. So now all those items you can see on display are on for sale as well.
Awesome.
And that's all based on the till catalogue, basically. So in this tab, you can see all the items that are available. This is by category, first of all, and then you can actually dive into them and see what sub-parts of those items you can put for
So
for
loads
display.
of control. You can be very
Exactly,
specific what
yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also telling us here that there are a certain number of items that aren't on display because we can't fit them on our shelves. We've used all our shelving up now, so they're not for sale. I want them to be for sale. That's the intent on this tab, but they're not for sale because they're not on display. For example, the balloons aren't for sale, character balloons and the normal balloons. So let's remedy that. Let's add some
we
new
need some
displays.
balloons in there. Let's get it in.
So just like the restaurants, I can click the Add New, which takes me to a filtered browser with the displays. I can look and check what the display can hold. These are the balloon displays, so clearly they can hold balloons. And then as I place them down, it will automatically, which is an actual term,
That's a technical term right there.
add the balloons on. So you can see I've got some of the
So
fancy
nice.
character foil balloons, and I've also got the sort of standard balloons as well.
Yeah,
Again,
that'd be
because I've asked them to be sold at the till, as I put down displays, they'll just work through them and then start for them being displayed, and then the guests will go over to them if they want to and purchase one.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But it's not just that way that you can tell what a display will sell. You can click on the display itself, and then you now have this display section. So I can choose other categories based on what that display can hold, and then so I could say actually I want to sell mugs here, and again I can actually click through them and say I want to sell this type of mug on there.
Yeah.
And to allow you, Rich, to create your wonderful displays that you did last time, you can turn everything off. It's still selling those things, but it's not visually displaying them. So I can then come in, or Rich, because you do all the hard work for me, and actually lay out the objects exactly how you want to. So I can place the puzzles exactly how I want them to. The guests will come along and purchase the puzzle, take it to the till. Take it to the till first and purchase it, no shoplifting.
That's great, because then, for example, if you're building in a particular theme, you can make your gift shop specifically sell like Vikings.
Exactly,
Viking-themed,
yeah. And you can do
merch.
that either by saying, I only want to sell the mythology theme mugs or Viking mugs, which will give you the lovely pre-placed version, or turn it off and then place the ones as well, because
your
all
own
the things you see here will be available as scenery items as well.
Yeah.
Which
And
you can
that's
place
gonna be
on
very
them,
cool.
or you can use them, as we know our wonderful creators use objects
However you
in unbelievable
Giant
different ways.
mugs and giant like
How
puzzle
quickly we're
boxes.
going to find a coaster wearing a hat.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I have to give a very quick shout out to our wonderful plushies. If my old man eyes can see at the bottom there. So
Look at
we've got
those.
our Pegasus, or
look at the
Peggy as she's
Pegasus
known in the
ones.
office, Queen Splash and King Coaster plushies as well.
Absolutely adorable.
I
Amazing.
just love them.
We need all
very,
of them,
very much.
please.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
We're also going to have some blueprints as well with some of these in, so there's some good
Yeah.
modular souvenir shop blueprints for our players to use as well.
Yeah. And another very sort of small detail, people will actually leave the shop with a bag as well, so it's kind of another little enhancement over
Lovely.
sort of what happened in previous games with modular
All
souvenir
those little
shops.
details all add up.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
lovely
Yeah.
stuff. Lovely,
Yeah,
lovely
it's really
stuff.
lovely to see it play out.
Then, So lurking in the corner, much like last time, we have another
What's
counter.
this? Oh,
Is that a
can't do
till?
that this time,
Is
can I?
it
'Cause
a
everyone knows
cash
what it is.
register?
This is our on-ride photo kiosk. So it's a
Yes.
counter for that. So last time I was here, we talked about some of the concepts, some of the imagery of the intent of what we wanted this to be. I'm going to go through
Yeah,
the
now
process
we
of
can actually see it.
going to see adding a on-ride photo
Yes.
camera to your coaster.
Let's have a
Going to do
look-see.
that. So here we have our pre-built coaster already made. We're going to add a
One of the D-themed coasters that's coming in Update 6
Yes.
as well.
Yep.
This is
Yes,
just
yes,
one of two
yes.
of them coming along.
Done your homework there?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, brushed up.
So if we click the coaster, there's a new tab that we've created called Add-ons. For appropriate coasters, we've moved the Ride Sync button into here. So when you load up Update 6 and you're looking for this button, it's now in this tab
Yeah.
because it felt better to have it connected. It's just a nicer
It was in two
organisation.
different places
More
depending on
intuitive.
certain things
Yeah.
before,
Yeah,
so we've tried
makes
to
sense.
unify it a little
Makes
bit.
sense.
So coasters
Yeah.
that can have on-ride photos or Ride Sync is a new tab. So you click our new ride photo camera.
Okay.
And during this flow, you can see as you're hovering over the coaster track some feedback
at
on
that.
the EFN. Now this matters because it affects the quality of the photo.
Yes.
And as in real life, if you see a good photo, you're going to go buy that. So this
Yeah,
is giving
don't
you
want
that
a boring
feedback.
one.
I want
Needs to
my
be-
hands
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
I want
be
that one.
terrified. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you do
want
need
those
to have
photos.
tested or opened your coaster to get this feedback. But if not, you can
That's the
eyeball
point.
it.
You can get, yeah.
Yeah, you can eyeball it. So the quality of the photo, the guests will then buy more of them. So and
Okay.
the
So let's find a good
dips
point.
are always really good, and this is
It's the classic, isn't it? It's the classic first
Bottom
drop.
of the first drop,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
classic one, or the beginning of the launch. Just at the end. That
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
again, is a real classic place to put them.
So you can then adjust this afterwards. So if you're not actually too happy with it here, you can move it up and down, and then
You can see it gets to be
Yeah.
a bit of an average photo at the top.
and you can see the camera that we've created as well.
Yeah,
Now
it's
it's placed on the
actually
track.
generated one in there. Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love this because then if you're like me and you like going into all the details, go really hard and all of that, you have a camera you can build a support for and actually put it
Yeah.
into,
Yeah.
Make
into
it
your
in-world.
into your coaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone with just the camera so that you guys have complete flexibility
Exactly.
of how you want to build the framework for it, the structure for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Something simple or more elaborate.
Or you could just leave it as it is and just have the photos coming off the ride and
Yeah.
having a great time if you want
Yeah.
to.
So now we've got
the
an
big
idea
reveal.
of where we want. We confirm. And now we will spawn a coaster. So there's an empty coaster for you to just get that fine tuning of your camera framing.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you can like previs. We can
Yeah.
check out what we want.
So you can adjust you can see it per car. So you can go up and see what the shot of each car will be. You can adjust the rotation using the axis controls. You can adjust the distance. So some of the coaster cars are quite narrow, some are quite wide. You get that fine tuning of how you want it
Loads
to be.
of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's quite funny because I'm sat here sort of, just show, but it's a massive thing. Like it's actual, previewing what's really happening in the UI. It's a really big kind of like,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
a real achievement for the team behind this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really,
amazing
really,
work. Yeah,
really,
yeah,
they should
incredible.
be very, very proud of
We
what's,
can't go
what's
into the
happened here.
technical details of how this is done, but it's been a
just
very
wizardry.
complex.
It's
It's just
just-
It is.
games are wizardry, but it was
Games
a
are
big,
magic, and
it
this
was-
is
yeah.
this is magic for
It was,
sure.
yeah, it was a big challenge for the team, but they've done a cracking job having this
Yeah,
that picture-in-picture
amazing.
view as you're adjusting things.
And you can also check, you can sort of cycle through the different cars on the train as well, so you can really make sure
you
that
get to
all
see
your
them.
Makes it look good for all of
exactly,
them.
and
You guys
cycle
have thought of everything,
to and
eh?
from.
Tried.
Check
We
you guys
tried.
out.
We've tried
Yeah.
to.
Okay, so we're pretty
Awesome.
happy with this framing. We're going to confirm placement. So the camera's now on the coaster. It's going to take photos. So as the coaster goes
Yep.
past, you're going to see a lovely flash.
Speed up. We'll get a.
I'm not in audio, so it's not the official
No, I think
sound.
that was okay.
Oh,
That sounded.
I mean, that sounded.
camera-y.
I thought that was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
from the game. I thought suddenly we had game audio coming through. Right here, I've got to get this right so that we see the
Yeah, let's see the.
lovely little attention to detail that
The
everyone
flasher.
comes to know for Planet Games.
Check
Lovely
that out.
stuff.
Flashes as it goes by. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which looks quite spectacular at night as well. You get a nice little
Yeah.
sort of.
That's
light
very
bleed
cool,
from
you
that as
guys.
well. Yeah.
So we've got a coaster and it has a camera and it's taking photos, but you can leave it just that. You can just have the nice visual of the camera going off. But the key part is visualizing it and seeing those photos. So back to our conveniently placed kiosk and TV screen in our exit. We have, this is just a standard TV screen. So you can choose any TV screen or billboard. You go to change image and we've added a new tab in this section specifically for ride photos. And you'll see you can do a drop down and filter these out for the coasters you've got.
Oh, there we go.
There's one per car for a train of the cars on the train, because
Four cars
some
sat on it,
coasters have different ones. Or There's a mosaic at the top,
Mosaic.
which gives you that,
You can see
that
this whole
nice
spread.
2x2.
Choose your options. Where do you look the most terrified? Yeah.
So as you can
I'm loving the crowd with their arms up. It always just makes me laugh when I see that.
And as you
Love
see,
it.
it's updating dynamically. So that roller coaster is over there in that park. It's still taking photos in this TV screen. Now it's connected to that coaster. We'll continue to put those photos onto this TV. So this is just a visual thing. So you can have multiple TVs, billboards connected to your coasters. But
Decorate your park with it if you want to.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But as I mentioned about the quality of the photo, the guests want to buy it. So we need to make sure that the counters or the photo kiosks themselves, we have a shop model, is actually connected to the ride we want the guests to buy. And this is our exit for this coaster. So we connect it to it using the selection tool. And this, once we've opened it, this counter will be selling the photos to guests off that ride.
Gotcha. So we're
this-
linking that up now. We're making sure that it's going to speak to each other.
So now we've
Okay.
got a coaster with a camera. It's taking lovely photos. When they
Yep.
come off it, there's a counter for those photos. They're going to buy those photos because they're good quality. And there's a nice visual element
They
of
go
the TV
home
screen
with
as
all
well.
their memories.
All their memories, exactly that.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
But you don't have to do the TV screen aspect. You could just connect the counter to the coaster. You don't even have to connect the counter to the coaster. If you just wanted the visual, there's a lot of flexibility.
Brilliant.
But there's
Okay.
also there's a prefab shop as
There
well,
is,
isn't there,
yeah,
as
I was
well?
about to say that, Rich, absolutely. Again, trying to sort of give all options to all types of players or styles of players. You get the ability to just place this kiosk and then build as you have so wonderfully in the corner of this shop, which then makes it feel part of that modular souvenir shop. They don't have to be connected together. They are separate counters, but if you place them together like this, then you get that real sense of coming off the
exiting
ride
through
and
the
then
gift
going
shop
through
for
a gift
real,
shop,
yeah.
which is so lovely.
Yeah.
But then there also, under the facilities blueprint, there'll be a shop that you can just connect to a ride and just sell through that way. So
There you go.
lots of options.
Oh,
there we
and
go.
there
We've
we
got
go.
a family there,
Picking it
Joining,
up.
picking up and having a good time with their Splinter
Yeah,
photo.
this is great.
Yeah, great placement. Lots of people want
Yeah.
it.
100%.
Why wouldn't
Again,
they? Look how attractive this shop is. Gosh.
It's a lovely shop. It's amazing.
And I do say so myself, that
Yeah.
those photos are
It really
on
makes
point.
everything just feel even more
It really
just
does.
real and
It
lifelike.
really
It's,
does.
it's so
It's
nice,
that
you guys.
that
the
authentic
times I've
feeling
come
of-
through shops like this in
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And
Rushing straight to the counter to make sure that your picture hasn't disappeared by the time you get there.
there was
Yes.
one shot while we were developing it where I got the guy from the car in front, right in front of my photo, and I'm like, that's happened so many times. You get photo bombed by the guy in front
But
of
that's
you,
where
right?
you can
And you're
cycle
like,
through the train to make sure
Exactly,
that you don't have people
exactly
photo
that.
bombing your other shots. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's some really
yeah.
lovely moments there.
Lovely stuff. Awesome. Lovely stuff, you guys.
And that's on top of course, all the other things that we spoke about in the last
Yeah.
Unlocked, where we've
we've
got
got-
the D-theme coaster.
Yeah, we've got 2 D-themed coasters. We have a new flat ride.
Yes.
We have 2 returning themes from the original Planet Coaster.
Yes, very, very exciting. We've got Pirate and Fairy
Fairy
Tale
Tale.
there.
Yep.
Yes, as a reminder there.
So there's
Yeah.
a big full update. A lot more information will be available in the changelog, which should be available tomorrow.
Yes.
So
Very exciting.
Awesome. So yeah, that is coming out on Monday. Keep that in mind, everybody. Very, very exciting stuff. But yeah, Rich, can you tell us a little bit about what maybe is going to be coming up for
Yeah, sure.
Planet Coaster 2 in
So
future?
this has been our 5th monthly update. We've done five months. We've been here talking about our updates.
Loads of stuff. It's been brilliant.
Loads of
stuff.
stuff.
It's been incredible.
Yeah.
It's been incredible.
So what's going to happen is we're going to go away for a little while. Adam's going to work on his puns.
I've run out of puns, so I need a little
finally
moment just
happened.
to build up a few more
Yeah.
dad puns. So I'm going to get that on the go.
It makes sense.
And we're going to work on some exciting new content.
Brand new content.
Brand new content.
Very
And we'll be
exciting.
back on this couch.
Yeah.
Do not worry.
We'll
These
be back.
me and Adam and these sofas are best friends now. We'll be back in the near future to talk about that.
Awesome stuff. That's incredibly exciting. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, you guys.
Thank you for having us again.
Absolutely brilliant.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, and again, yep, Monday, that's when the update is going to be coming out. You're going to be getting all these amazing things coming there, including the 2 returning themes, Pirate and Fairy Tale. And just to show it off a little bit more, we're going to be playing the teaser that you guys would have seen in last month's Unlocked. So yeah, check it out.
Very, very exciting stuff.
Lovely stuff.
Planet Coaster 2. Obviously, I'm excited.
I know,
but
you are a super fan. You
I
are
am
the
a super fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pirate and Fairy Tale coming back along with, especially on-ride photos. It's so good. So yeah, Monday the 30th
Yes.
when that comes out.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Put in.
it's time to kick off our giveaway, and we've got a bunch of stuff that I've prepared earlier.
Yes.
Let's do these.
What
these
have we
quite
got, Rich?
Flash ones first. We have
We've got very
a
ooh.
Razer Basilisk V3 gaming mouse.
Yeah.
Very, very swish.
Nice.
Even swisher than that, so we have
Even
a
Swisher.
Razer Black Widow.
I mean, that's pretty.
V3
Yeah,
gaming
that's
keyboard.
pretty good. Yeah.
Very, very posh. If you see
Very
a square
nice.
shirted Rich leaving the studio after the show, no, you didn't. We have an Elite Dangerous beanie hat, and
Beanie.
also we have, it's down here, we have an Elite Dangerous. Got it
This
right
is
way
very
up,
nice.
An
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous mouse pad.
Check this out.
Look at- hang on, there we
this
go.
looks very nice.
Look at that.
Lovely. Yeah. Lovely
Try and get
stuff.
this out of the way. So to enter, you're going to need to put a keyword. I'm going to roll this up while I do this into the chat, and this is on Twitch only. So if you're not
Yes, very
already on
important.
Twitch, twitch.tv/frontier, get over there now so you can put this in the chat.
Yeah.
And geographical restrictions do apply, and please head to frontier.co.uk/legal for all the T's and C's and stuff like that.
Yes. But
So-
what do they need to do to win? What do we need to enter?
To win this, or to enter this giveaway, you need to put !dinosaur, all lowercase, into the chat.
In the chat.
!dinosaur, DINOSAUR, all in lowercase.
Yes.
And
Get that in.
we will leave this open for a little bit, a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
So get that in the chat now on Twitch, twitch.tv/frontier, if you want to enter this giveaway.
Lovely stuff. But yes, whilst we are waiting for you guys to get in there and hopefully win everything there, good luck to everybody. We're going to be having a look at Planet Zoo because we've also got some cool stuff coming there. What's going to be going on with Planet Zoo, Rich?
Planet Zoo, it was launch day for a DLC for Planet Zoo on
Very
PC
exciting.
this morning.
Yes.
The
yes,
Asia
yes.
Animal Pack released earlier today
Yep.
on PC, and it brings 7 brand new animals, including the honey badger, the Japanese raccoon dog, and the black buck to the
Beautiful,
game.
lovely
And
animals.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're stunning. 100 brand new scenery pieces as well, and a new campaign scenario.
Amazing.
Where Dominic Myers is back again, determined to breathe life into a new park, or into an old park, sorry, in South Korea.
Very cool. Very
So
cool.
let's-
Loads to do there.
While you guys are entering the giveaway, !dinosaur if you haven't already, let's take a look at the trailer. So there you go.
It's so nice.
That is
Absolutely
the Asia
beautiful.
Animal Pack, and it's out right now
Today.
on Steam. So go and grab that if you'd like. And it is going to be coming to console alongside the America's Animal Pack on the 5th of August.
Yes, we've got some
So-
lovely key art on here, so you can have a look
Yeah.
at that.
So
Beautiful.
Planet Zoo console players, you don't have to wait all that long to get your hands on these 2 packs together. And also released today was a free update, which includes something new and free for everyone. It's the Malabar Rose Butterfly.
Oh, look at that.
Look
Beautiful.
at it.
Beautiful. Yep, that's coming out today. That is, with
That is
the free
available
update as
today as a free update. for everybody.
Get hold of that.
Absolutely.
Lovely stuff. So we're going to be closing up the giveaway now. So no more entries, please. We're going to be announcing the winner of these great prizes shortly. If you are a winner, you will be receiving a Twitch Whisper, a DM from our official Frontier account. So look out for that. But yes, we have now closed the giveaway. So yeah, good luck to everybody.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck.
Okay, I think we've left them hanging long enough.
Yes.
Elite players, commanders, it's your turn. So 2 unlocks ago, which is an official unit of measurement here at Frontier, we revealed the Panther Clipper Mark II. And this month we're going to give you all of the juicy details. And for this, I'm going to hand over to Zach, who sat down with Chris and Curtis earlier this week.
Hello everybody, Zach here, brand manager on Elite Dangerous here at Frontier, and I'm joined by 2 special dev guests today to talk about everyone's favourite space game, Elite Dangerous. So would you like to introduce yourself, starting with Curtis?
Hi, I'm Curtis. I'm one of the designers on the game.
Chris?
I'm Chris, and I'm the art director on the game.
Lovely. So I think everybody knows what we're here to talk about today. We said at the end of the last show that we would talk about the Panther Clipper Mark II, which is what we're here to talk about. Chris very kindly, I believe 2 months ago now.
2 whole months since PitCon, and we revealed that the Panther was coming.
Yeah, very, very nicely with the teaser image that you kindly put together at PitCon. And then, yes, we went into Unlocked, where you talked about the concepts and the sort of design ethos, I guess, like what you were thinking for the initial concept of the ship.
Very much so, and so those concept images, obviously we had those complete at the time, and we've spent the last 2 months actually trying to get that into game and fulfill on those concept images, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it, as you'll see later.
Yes, I mean, this is one of the, if not the largest ship we've ever put into Elite Dangerous, at least from a player control point of view, right? And so that does actually translate to the work and effort that it is needed from your team.
Definitely, it's certainly a challenging ship to implement and to make good on all those things that we wanted to sell, the scale and the size of this ship, and we'll talk about some of that as we go through and see some of the images.
Sweet. All right. Well, talking of images, I think without further ado, while we go through our sort of discussion points for you guys, let's show the Panther Clipper Mark II in the game for the very first time. So enjoy this chat as we go through. So I think to kick off, to bring everyone back up to speed, Curtis, what sort of ship is the Panther Clipper Mark II? For someone that's never maybe tuning in for the very first time to an Elite stream, maybe they've just picked up the game, what is the Panther Clipper Mark II?
Big trader.
It's a big trader, yes. It's exactly that.
Some might say the biggest trader.
The biggest trader?
And they would be correct.
Okay, well, we'll dive into the exact details of why that is the case later on. But Chris, I think it's fair to say this thing is going to be pretty good for those players that want to get from A to B.
I think definitely if you have some goods that you want to move around the galaxy at speed, this is the ship for you. So perfect if you are looking to supply goods to build a new station for colonization, for instance, and loads of other things where you've got to shift tonnage from one point in space to another.
Yeah. So I think, Curtis, knowing, when we released colonization, we saw all those cries for, we really want to trade all these materials. How hard was it knowing behind the scenes that you were working on this the whole time? You just wanted to tell everybody this is what it was.
It was so hard seeing all of the posts that were like, oh, if I just had, a couple of hundred more tons of haulage, I'd be good. And just being like, can't say anything.
Well, we're nearly there.
We are nearly there, yes.
So, okay, on trading then, how does the Panther Clipper Mark II compare to the other traders in the game right now?
So roughly speaking, it's got about 50% more capacity than our biggest traders. So quite the improvement compared to what players are used to. It's got a similar jump range when fully laden to those traders as well. So even though it's hauling a lot more, it's keeping up with the speed that you'd expect from like a Type 9 or something.
Yeah.
And it's also, compared to our dedicated traders, got a little bit more bite to it. You're carrying a lot of goods, so we wanted to make sure that like you had something there to defend yourself.
Interesting. We'll touch on that a bit later on.
I'm sure we will.
And Chris, what do you think from a visual point of view? What was the process when you had to set this ship aside, I guess, from some of the other traders in the game?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of large trading ships and in the game they have been for a while, and I think one of the things that they all share, which we have also implemented with the Panther, is form follows function. So they are large, they are bulky, they don't waste space. And so that tends to have the consequence that they have a slightly boxy appearance. Some of our other ships, though, were boxy and also quite angular and quite brutalist, and that was by intention. So with this one of the bits of thinking that we had was similar to the Mandalay, where we took an explorer ship, but we wanted to go for something that had a few more curves in there and a slightly more appealing look. Same lens really was used on the Panther, so that's why we went for Zorg and Peterson as a manufacturer. So we could have a few more elegant lines and bits of design in there, while still maintaining that big bulky look. It's just that little bit more refined in its detailing, and we think it's unique for that reason.
Yeah, and I think everyone watching right now, seeing the footage, will quite clearly be able to see that silhouette of the original Panther Clipper, right? But with, like you said, those enhancements that we've seen across all of the new ships that we've added to the game, right? But this one in particular, you can really see that the callback to the original.
I think hopefully it will map onto that and remind people who remember that ship, whilst also providing a unique and exciting new ship for those who maybe haven't played the older games.
100%. All right then, so what is, Curtis, what would you say the USP of the ship is? I think with a lot of these new ships we're adding, we like to try and, we have a USP for each of them. What would you really say? You're speaking directly to the players right now. What is that USP of the ship?
So there is the obvious one. It's got loads more cargo capacity. But our best traders always have the most cargo. So I'd say that probably with the Panther, the thing I like most about it anyway is I don't have to sacrifice on some of the sort of like more comfort modules that I'd like to take when trading.
Okay.
If I'm trading at the moment, I might go around in a stripped down Type 9 that has no shields and no booster and nothing, and sort of get as much cargo as I can out of it. Whereas in the Panther, if I want 1,000 tons of cargo and still want a shield and a couple of other modules, I can do it.
Okay, I mean that makes it a pretty exciting prospect just by itself, right? Chris, I mean from a visual point of view, is there anything on the ship itself? I mean, you guys are probably seeing it on the videos right now that you think sets it apart as in a sort of USP? Is it those thrusters on the side maybe, or something else?
There's a couple of things. Yeah, we always try to give each ship something unique, and in this case, it's definitely the rotating and pivoting engine pods, the 4 pods, that also, in this ship's case, serve as the ship's landing gear as well when it's come to rest. And that was a callback, as we discussed last time, to the way the original ship worked in the original Elite, and so we wanted to preserve that. And the team have done a really nice job of engineering that animation so that it feels nice and chunky and heavy on the side of the ship. And so, yeah, I think that's probably one of the most unique things. And then in terms of challenges, in terms of making this ship unique from a construction point of view, I think we hadn't quite realised until we got it in game that you, foolishly on our part, would be walking under this thing, on top of this thing. And that's a lot of real estate that we had to make sure held up from all of those angles. So we actually ended up taking the concepts, and we were finding there were places where we needed to add a little bit more detail on top of that, and doing that in a targeted way so that it didn't feel too cluttered, and it worked from a distance, and it also worked close up. That was quite a challenge, but it was fun.
Yeah, so I mean, chat, when you eventually get your hands on the Panther Clipper Mark II, make sure you get out and look around underneath, because Chris and the team spent a lot of time making sure that
find the one spot we forgot to detail.
Yeah, put that in the issue tracker, and then we'll have a look. All right then, so let's move on to the stuff that some of our players really like to know about, Curtis. I know you have dreams or nightmares about these moments where we talk about hard points and things like that. So let's
statistics. Here we go.
Here we go. Let's start with the hard points, Curtis. How many does the ship have?
So it does have 10.
Okay.
Which, if I'm remembering correctly, is the most of any ship in the game.
Okay.
And as for the configuration, you've got 4 small, 4 medium, and 2 large.
Right.
So a fair amount of firepower. You're not matching a Corvette or an Anaconda, but the Type 9 is sort of kind of blown out the water a bit by that.
Okay. And sorry, go on.
No, please.
Is there anything you envision a player to put on those hard points in particular, or is it quite open to interpretation?
Well, you can put whatever you want on it. I might stay away from fixed weapons because it is a big ship, so it does have quite the wide turning circle. So I imagine most players put turrets on, but you could fit it with pretty much whatever you want, and it'll do some damage.
Yeah, Chris, how was it finding the spots for those hard points on this one? Was it easy? Was it hard?
Surprisingly,
a lot of space.
A little bit easier on this one, partly due to those factors. The fact that it's encouraged to use turrets, for instance, helps it a little bit, but definitely we wanted to make sure that there were centerline weapons as well. And to do all the tests that we do usually to get those hard points in really early in the process, and then Curtis and his team will test that out and make sure that they feed back to us on what's working and what isn't working. So a little bit easier just in terms of the fact that there's more space, so you're not having to fit them into thin wings or anything like that. The bulk of it definitely helped, but it was the usual process and back and forth to refine where they actually ended up.
Perfect. All right then. So let's move on to optional internals.
Yep. So for this one, we've got one size 1, one size 2, a size 4, for your booster or whatever. 2 size 5s, 3 size 6, 2 size 7, and 2 size 8.
Nice. Okay.
There's something special about those ones, but
we'll talk about those. Yes, you may have picked up on that chat. We'll talk about those just in a second. But first, let's just go over the core internals as well.
Yep. So again, it's a big ship, so it needs a lot of power, and it needs a basically big everything.
Yes.
So size 8 power plant, same for thrusters. Size 7 FSD. Life support and sensors are only a size 5 because it's a trader, doesn't really need them as much. And then power distributor and fuel tank are also a size 7. So overall, a pretty beefy ship.
Yes, and I think that makes sense for the size of this one.
Yeah, and that also explains why it weighs so much.
Yes. All right, so the Panther Clipper Mark II, as you just sort of hinted at, is actually the first ship we've made in Elite Dangerous to introduce a new module slot recently. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so players that fly ships with the military slots will be somewhat familiar with what we've done here. And what the Panther has is it has 2 slots that are specifically designed to only take specific modules, kind of like the military slots. But in this case, instead of it being military gear, it is basically storage modules. So specifically, this will be cargo racks and fuel tanks. But along with this, and this is the bit that's more unique to this slot than to stuff like the military slot, is there are specific modules that will only fit in these slots. So only the Panther can have them.
Right.
And that is specifically a size 8 and a size 7 on the Panther. And there are 2 new modules, size 7 and 8, of a optimized cargo rack that has an increased capacity. So you can fit even more cargo on the ship.
Okay, are you willing to give us any numbers in terms of
so it's a 50% increase. So you folks at home can do the math. But it's a 50% increase on the size 7 and the size 8 standard cargo.
So it's going to transfer a lot, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so a new unique module is something that, we're excited to keep advancing with these ships and seeing what we can do with them. And this is, us again, testing those waters and seeing, as you look at all the sort of plethora of elite dangerous ships we have right now, and you're trying to pick out spaces where there is, opportunity to advance a certain area, right? And this kind of thing will help us do that, right?
Exactly. It gives us a lot more tools, or a lot of like different arrows in our quiver to make ships unique going forward, so that we can really make sure that we're not just like producing the same ship but with a slightly different skin.
Yeah. So I think on that, I guess, just to wrap all this up into one main question about trade, I think to summarize, Curtis, what makes this ship so good at trade? It is that capacity, right, as well as
it all comes down to how much it can carry and what you can do with the ship while carrying that amount. And it's it's well armed, it's well equipped, and it can haul as much as you want.
Perfect. All right. So obviously, as you mentioned earlier, this is a trade ship. Quite a lot of the time, if you are trading, you're probably going to come across some not so polite commanders who maybe want to destroy your ship. So how does the Panther Clipper fare in combat at the minute?
So as I'm sure people are guessing and looking at with the additional hard points and everything, it fares fairly well. Again, it's probably not gonna take out many pirates, especially not the ones that are coming properly well equipped. But I would be worried going. I would not casually go up to a Panther Clipper and start fighting it. I would prepare for that assault.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the point. It's a trader. It's not a combat vessel, but because of how much it's trading, it needs to be able to defend itself, and that's what we've tried to provide here.
Perfect. All right then. So, as always, we tell our commanders this is a trade ship, this is a combat ship, and then you guys will go away and do something completely different with it. So we thought we'd give you just a tiny bit of a head start. Curtis, is there any other use cases for the ship that you can think of off the top of your head?
So I fully expect to see this thing exploring, even though it's not supposed to.
Yeah, of course.
And I expect it to dominate conflict zones, even though it's never done that in testing. But I think the thing I would expect players to find quite useful about it is, while it's going to be a bit awkward to maneuver and fit in for doing stuff like core mining, just by virtue of the fact that it's got a lot of hard points, a lot of power, and a lot of space, I could see this being a really good laser miner for players.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll know within a few weeks of release exactly what else the Panther Clipper is great at, which is good. All right, so another thing in the Panther Clipper Mark II is the new bridge. I think you alluded to it last time you were on the show. Just tell us a bit, I guess, Chris, first from your point of view, what was the visual sort of process and how did you think about that as you were going about creating it?
Yeah, so it's a big ship and it needed a big bridge, basically. So we felt that it was worth making something bespoke for this one. And we really wanted to evoke the look of the older ship where there's a strip of windows. And so we wanted that long kind of feel and that view out of the front. So we paid a lot of attention to where the seating was going to be placed on the ship. So we've got the main pilot's position in the center at the front, and then we've got the three other crew arrayed at the back, and there's some nice views that can be taken of the crew and nice compositions that if you're so minded we'll give you some good screenshots there as well. And from a visual point of view, we kind of wanted to just make it fit with the outside. So it's chunky and industrial, but not too chunky and industrial. There's a little bit of finesse to the way it's put together. And those 4 seats, I think, will hopefully come in useful when the crew have to defend themselves.
Yeah, Curtis, do you want to expand a bit on that?
Yeah, so as you say, there's 4 seats if you include the pilot. So you've got 1 seat for the pilot, 1 seat for the gunner on all of those turrets. And this will also be our first, in the line of new ships at least, ship with a fighter bay, which means you can have 2 of your fellow crew members in fighters helping you fend off those nasty pirates after all of your glorious cargo.
Lovely. So there is basically plenty of, things to do for everyone on board.
Yep.
All right. So one of the last things we like to talk about every time when we talk about these new ships is the cosmetics and some of the ways that you can make the ship your own. So as always, we've got the standard version of the ship. And Chris, we've also got the Stellar version this time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the fun parts of designing the ships was once we're done with the main concepting, there's then a process where we then start to add bits for the ship kits and design all the different paint jobs and liveries for that. So in this case, obviously there'll be a range to come over time, but day one you'll be able to choose between the standard version and then the Stellar version, which comes with a nice black and gold livery, which we think looks rather smart.
Yep.
And also a set of kit pieces, 6 I think, which you can then configure to change the shape of your hull to make the ship look the way you want it to look. And that's always a fun part of seeing which bits people choose and the different configurations that people can come up with and the different combos with the different paint jobs. So yeah, looking forward to seeing people play with that.
Very nice. And we are also working on a Owners Club decal as well, which is going to be available for commanders, and we'll give you some more information on that at a later date. One thing I did want to touch on I think it's on the Stellar edition, correct me if I'm wrong, it might be on the base, the sort of, I don't know how to describe it, there is a part on the front of the ship that is very reminiscent of the original Panther Clipper, right, that has made its way.
I think the word you're looking for is prong.
Prong, okay.
So yeah, we as we've discussed, we were trying to harken back to the original design as much as possible. And the original design does have a prong that's asymmetrical. It's on one side of the ship. And we toyed with the idea of including that on the base.
Yeah.
And I do like what it does to the ship, and it does add that little extra callback to the original one. But we decided to have that as an optional element, so you can choose whether or not you want to have that or any of the other kit pieces on your ship.
Perfect, makes sense. So obviously the Panther Clipper Mark II is a legendary ship. It's something that you guys have wanted for a long time, and I'm happy to say that it's going to be coming into Elite Dangerous in ARC's early access on the 22nd of July, and you actually won't have to wait too much longer for the Vanguards update, which will be arriving in early August. So if you did want to find out more about the Vanguards update, make sure to check out last month's Unlocked. But until then, I'll hand back to Sam and Rich in the studio.
There you go. Very exciting, hey?
It's a big boy, isn't it?
It's very, very big. Yeah. Lovely stuff, though. Awesome. Cool. So we've also got the winner of our giveaway. Congratulations to Commander Zim. Well done, well done, well done. Make sure to reach out and we can get you all of those cool things over to you. But yes, congratulations again. And yes, that about brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Just a reminder that if you have missed anything or you haven't seen the show, please check us out on YouTube. That we will be able to watch this later on. So yeah, thank you so much, you guys.
That is it from us, but we will be back on Wednesday the 30th of July at 6 o'clock UK time. So we will see you then.
Lovely stuff. See you guys then. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.